Terrence Richardson and Ferron Claiborne not guilty of murdering Officer Alan Gibson. But what happened next would shock many. While the jury acquitted Claiborne and Richardson of murder, they convicted them of conspiracy to sell crack cocaine.
I would have assumed that they would have gotten something at the most, like 10 years.
And it wasn't until recently that White learned what happened next, after the jury was dismissed.
I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it.
In a rare move in the sentencing phase without the jury, the judge used that murder charge as a cross-reference to lock them up for good.
But our verdict was not guilty of the murder.
Under the sentencing guidelines, they can have what they call enhanced sentencing based on criminal activity for which you have not been convicted.
Still, legal analyst Bill Shields says the way it happened in this case is odd.
It's miscarriage of justice. To enhance based on something they were actually acquitted of, I have not seen that before.
I just feel like he was railroaded and they did whatever they could to get a conviction.
They actually knew that we didn't do it, but they just needed somebody to be the scapegoat for it.
The men appealed, it was denied. But now Laquetta Rustin, founder of Providing Light, a group dedicated to helping those she believes have been wrongly accused, has now taken on the case. She's filed a petition with President Obama asking him to grant the men clemency before he leaves office.
There was never any substantive evidence found.
Shields believes they have an argument.
This case really does have some very serious questions about the legitimacy of what happened to these two men.
If clemency isn't granted, Rustin has also filed a petition for a reduction in sentence under the drug laws of today.
If they were to be sentenced under today's guidelines, they would be out already.
Gibson's widow declined to go on camera with 8 News, asking we respect her privacy. She did tell us she was in shock. She says these two men killed her husband and robbed them of a life together.
Lord God, we thank you for this gathering.
Claiborne's family prays for the Gibsons. They understand their pain, but they believe Gibson's killers are still out there.
My heart really goes out to the family, and I pray daily that they will find the right person who did this, who committed a crime.
They say the truth is to set you free. I'm relying on that.
The Claiborne family is pleading for anyone who knows anything about Officer Gibson's murder, whatever it is, to come forward.
So many people knew the truth, but so many people was afraid to come forward. I never give up, especially for something that I knew I had nothing to do with or don't know nothing about. I'm going to fight this to the end.
The federal prosecutor on the case, now Magistrate Judge David Novak, refused to comment, saying he makes it a practice of not discussing old cases. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia issued a statement saying, in part, at sentencing, the district court found that clear and convincing evidence established that Richardson and Claiborne were responsible for the murder of Waverly police officer Alan Gibson.
The judge felt he had enough evidence to believe they committed the crime.
Shields explains while a jury has to use a higher standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal cases, the judge at sentencing does not.
Using a lower standard of proof, he said, I think they did it. Therefore, I'm going to use it to enhance their punishment.
We're also told the fact that the men took guilty plea deals in state court likely factored into that life sentence in federal court. Kerri O'Brien.